lad dreaming of playing for Kilkenny, and then that dream comes true when you do walk out into Croke Park with that Kilkenny jersey. It's an unbelievable feeling, so it is, you know, the crowd, the atmosphere, the dressing room before the game, you know, the bus journey up to Croke Park. It's electrifying, so it is. The past, there's been so many legends after wearing that jersey, and now it's our time to take over that pride and take over that jersey as well. So it's a marvellous achievement for any player to put on the Kilkenny jersey, because there's so much talent out there, and so many young lads coming through as well. Back in the 80s and 90s, I suppose DJ Carey was the legend back then. He was a forward, but there are so many good forwards, like Charlie Carter as well, Eamon Morrissey, and then you have to look at the backs, the likes of Pat Neal and the O'Connor brothers, Willie and Eddie as well. But I think as a forward myself, you have to look at DJ Carey, and then I suppose in the present time then as well, I had the privilege to watch Henry Shefflin with Ballyhale as a young lad, and then watch him with Kilkenny as well. So I think I try to I suppose copy Henry as much as possible, because he is one of the greatest hurlers of all time. And so for me, I think Henry Shefflin, I looked up to him as a young lad, and I still look up to him at the present. I walked into the Kilkenny dressing room. We won 4 All-Irelands in a row, and I was captain in 2010 to go for 5 in a row. So it was a roller coaster, to be honest, for myself. You know, I couldn't believe it. There's young lads out there that would die for an All-Ireland jersey and an All-Ireland medal, and so probably you might have took it for granted as well, because you're coming into a team that was at their peak of their powers, and they're winning All-Ireland. So probably took myself maybe a year, maybe or so, to finally say to yourself, yes, I am a Kilkenny hurler, because the first year you're on trial. You know, when I walked in first, Brian said, look, you're being called in to train, and we'll see how, we'll give you a few months to see how you go, and if you make it, you'll make the Kilkenny panel. So the first year you're always on your toes, because there's always young lads stepping up to the mark and trying to get into that Kilkenny setup. So the first year you're in there, you're trying to be your best. Every time you're going in train, there's pressure on you, because Brian always speaks about training. If you perform in training, you'll be named on the team or named on the panel. So there was a small bit of pressure for your first year. And after that, then the second and third year, you feel more comfortable in yourself, and you feel more relaxed. In terms of being a leader in the dressing room, everyone has their different approach. Some lads are quiet, some lads will say a few words, but as long as you do your leadership on the hurling field, that's all that matters. But myself, I just try to get myself into the best position I can for every game. I take each game as it comes. There's no pressure on myself, because I don't think like that. And if you start thinking like that, you're putting pressure on yourself. So you try to be more relaxed. Maybe the younger lads are looking up to you, but I don't feel like that. You're just concentrating on training and concentrating on holding on to that jersey as well, because the day you start taking things for granted, and the day that you start taking that jersey for granted, is the day that a younger lad will come in and take your jersey. You know, back in November and December, there were all those retirements going, and you would probably say to yourself, geez, Kilkenny are going to be weak this year with all those lads retiring. And maybe a lot of teams took us for granted, I think. And in the league, you know, we're in the relegation final as well, so that didn't stand too much for Kilkenny. So there probably were question marks over Kilkenny, question marks in terms of who's going to lead Kilkenny and who's going to be the leaders of the team. But I think once even myself, I was involved in my club, so I wasn't back till after March. There was probably 5 or 6 injuries as well. So once Brian and the team got everyone back together after the relegation final, we had 8 weeks to train for the Wexford game, and that was in Nolan Park. So once we got together, I firmly believe that there was a serious panel there and a serious team that could contend the All-Ireland final. So we took each game as they come. We met Wexford in Nolan Park. I think after that day we set the tone. I think we opened up people's eyes that yes, Kilkenny are there for the future and they're there for the year. So I think after that game we realised that they are a potential of going the whole way and competing for the All-Ireland. But I think ourselves, it was just each game as they come. We didn't want to go through the back door, because when you go on that route, you're putting. Because if we had lost the Wexford game or the Leinster final, well then doubts would have got in. So we had to prepare for each game as we came, and I think we've done that. I think we all knew at half time that we didn't perform. I think each individual knew themselves that there was an extra 20, 30, 40% in them. So it was just a matter of getting that out of each player. And you know, of course, you're hearing about Jackie's speech, and of course, it was a great speech. But I think even if Jackie hadn't have spoken, I think each player knew themselves deep down that we didn't perform. And it always happens in training as well, that if you come back from a 2-week break with the clubs and come back into Kilkenny setup, training does dip. And if that was a training session on the All-Ireland final day, Brian would have brought us in after 5 minutes and he would have told us off. And just the difference, intensity levels just rise 20–30%. So at half time, lucky enough, we had a chance to regroup and to be told off, and we were told off. And I think in the second half, I think 1 to 15 woke up, and the intensity levels rose, our work rate rose. Each and every individual put their hearts and soul into the second half. I think for myself, it could have been the best one because of the retirements and who were the leaders. And I think the leaders stood up. And it is a new generation of the Kilkenny hurling team.